Next on the news, the nation mourning the 67 people who died in the midair collision of a passenger plane and Army helicopter. This as investigators find the black boxes that will hopefully explain the crash. As Catholic Schools Week comes to a close, we introduce you to a Bay Ridge teacher who runs a tight ship.
You wouldn't guess life on a military base has had an influence on Rachel Runyon until you stepped foot in her classroom. I'm Jessica Easthope. That story's coming up.
Plus, ahead of the weekend Lunar New Year celebrations, a Queens Church ushers in the Year of the Wooden Snake. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. The collision over the nation's capital is the deadliest aviation disaster in almost a quarter century. More than 40 of the 67 bodies have been recovered from the Potomac River as investigations into the crash continue. The low-altitude helicopter corridor near D.C.'s Reagan National Airport is closed indefinitely, says the FAA. The agency shut down what's known as Route 4 Friday morning as the investigation into Wednesday's deadly collision between an Army Black Hawk helicopter and American Airlines jet continues.
We most likely had a multitude of different issues, whether it be from understanding where a plane is, what an altitude is, what the speed is.
Answers that could be in the jet's flight data and voice recorders known as black boxes recovered Thursday night. Some aviation industry experts and former pilots are focusing on the Army Black Hawk, which mirrors a report in the New York Times that suggests the helicopter may have been flying higher than it should have been and possibly outside of its approved path. On the Route 4 corridor, that means at or below 200 feet above sea level.
I've flown this route too many times to count. You stair step down your altitude and you keep that 200 feet plus or minus, 10, 20 feet.
It's possible with all the reflections of the light being over the water that they crept up.
The change of runway for the American Airlines jet could also be a factor.
It could have drifted them a little bit further into the path of that Black Hawk if there was some altitude discrepancy that the Black Hawk wasn't holding.
The preliminary NTSB report could come in 30 days. Final findings may take a year.
We're not going to put something out quick just so we can end some speculation.
Be sure to stay tuned to Currents News and the tablet for continuing coverage of the collision. Turning now to our Catholic Schools Week coverage, highlighting the amazing education and educators in the Diocese of Brooklyn. The third grade teacher at Bay Ridge Catholic Academy won't be at her current job for long. Soon, she'll move on, teach different kids, and maybe even a different grade. That's just how life goes when you're a military wife. But for Rachel Runyon and her family, they say their time in the Diocese of Brooklyn has been different. Currents News' Jessica Easthope explains from Bay Ridge.
Wearing a pink bow in her hair and a colorful sweater, Rachel Runyon looks nothing like a drill sergeant.
We are cleaning up in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. 2 minutes. 1 minute remaining.
But step into her classroom and she'll start to sound like one.
5, 4.
Every second counts when you run a tight ship.
We're in our seat.
I am very focused on time and order, and I'm very organized. Being in this life for 15 years, it rubs off on you in ways that you can never expect.
Rachel has been a military spouse for almost 16 years. Her husband, Mike, is a technical sergeant in the United States Air Force.
I'm gonna race and we're gonna have a fresh start.
They've lived all over the country.
In Northern California, Maryland, Southern California, and then here.
These days, they live on base at Fort Hamilton.
You guys want to go to the park?
Yeah!
And somehow, in the busiest city in the world, this family of 4 from Southern Maryland found a home.
We enrolled 12 days before school started, and we were just really treated like family. It's just been a great place for my kids to learn and for me to grow as an educator. I couldn't be more thankful to to be a part of this community.
So it was a little bit overwhelming, and I think once we found Bay Ridge Catholic, everything felt like it kind of fell in line.
Bay Ridge Catholic principal Paul Marisi says having Rachel and her children at the school has been a positive learning experience for everyone.
Something that's been beautiful with what Rachel has brought here is this experience that she's had of traveling the country, teaching in different states with different communities, so she could reach people in a different way that maybe some of our other teachers can learn from.
Within the next year or so, Rachel, Mike, and their children will be somewhere new, but their time at Bay Ridge Catholic will stay with them.
So many times this school has been a bright spot. It feels like magic. This is the standard that I need to look for wherever I go next.
All right, time to go home. Come on, let's go.
Wherever that is. In Bay Ridge, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan has been in several classrooms for Catholic Schools Week, and on Thursday he helped unveil a brand new one.
We ask you to bless this library.
That new reading room is at St. Stanislaus Kostka Catholic Academy in Greenpoint. Bishop Brennan toured the Brooklyn school and spoke to students. He was also on hand to see St. Stan's Student Council inauguration ceremony. Some of those class reps might take inspiration from leaders they learn about in the classroom. That's what kids at Immaculate Conception Catholic Academy did with their wax museum on Friday.
Alexander Graham Bell. I was born on March 3rd, 1847 in Newsbury School.
Love it. At the sound of a bell, these statues come alive at the Astoria School's annual immersive exhibit. The sound of the ding triggered the Queens kids to present the famous figure they researched, bringing household names to life right before visitors' very eyes. While the kids at Immaculate Conception went to the museum, those at St. Michael's in Flushing went to a Catholic school concert. Around 15 members of the NYPD band visited the school, performing contemporary hits while the students and teachers danced and sang along. How fun. Plenty of kids want to be police officers when they grow up, and students at St. Rose of Lima Catholic Academy got to live out that dream at their Catholic Schools Week celebration.
What do you want to be when you're... doctor to heal people.
Doctor to heal people. And Joseph.
Students at the Rockaway Queens School were encouraged to dress up as their future careers, which for these kids included police officers, pilots, doctors, and even marine biologists. Currents News asked some of those students about the motivation behind their career choices, while staff told us they hope this dress down day encourages the kids to dream big.
I want to be a scientist because it's fun to do experiments. My other grandpa in Ireland was playing like airplanes, and I want to be like a pilot, that's why. I want to be a vet when I grow up because there's very important animals in the world, and I know some will probably go extinct like soon or something.
Here, especially at St. Rose, and I think like all Catholic schools, we really work on, fostering that independence and fostering that, God has a plan for us, and we are able to do whatever we want to do as long as we work hard and just continue to practice.
Each classroom also had their own career day activities, like making these paper hats that proudly proclaim their dream jobs. Be sure to pick up the tablet this weekend for even more Catholic Schools Week coverage. The paper is highlighting the spiritual and academic benefits of a Catholic education, bringing you stories like this one about 5 sisters strengthening their Catholic faith together. And Bishop Brennan kicking off the week with kindergartners at Divine Wisdom Catholic Academy in Douglaston. So don't forget to pick up the tablet at your local church this weekend. You can also support the tablet and Catholic journalism by becoming a member. You can do so by going online to thetablet.org/become-a-member. And to enroll your child in a Catholic school, just visit CatholicSchoolsBQ.org or call 718-965-7380 for more information. Finally tonight, many Asian communities will be celebrating the Lunar New Year this weekend. But Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church in Astoria began their festivities early. The parish Bangladesh's Vietnamese community held a mass and reception to mark the start of the Year of the Wood Snake last Sunday. The celebration featured dragons, drums, and dancing, along with traditional food and decor for Tet, which is the biggest and most important holiday in Vietnam. And that is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Before we go, we want to take one last look at this week's Catholic Schools Week celebrations. Hope to see you again next time.